Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to begin this video by giving all glory, all honor, and all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha Kodash, Barakatam, giving double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who surely do rule well, to the men standing by the highways and byways pushing this doctrine. I'd like to say shalom. And even unto the sincere Akwatli sisters who sit listening these lessons in silence, subjection, and obedience unto their husbands, I say shalom. There's a brother here, Maya Sala. I just come back again to do a video. Hopefully it will be edifying. And the point here of this video is the Lord has his hands in this kingdom, aka Esau's rule. And the first point on again too is the fact that he is the one who calls the shots or sets up the rulers, right? In the book of Daniel 4 and verse 17, this matter is by the decree of the holy watchers, is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth it up over it the basis of men, right? I'm now going to two words here, ruleth. It's from the Hebrew shalayath, having mastery, having authority, ruling, having or exercising mastery, ruling, ruler, having authority. Strong's definition, mighty, abstractly, corresponding to mighty, abstractly, permission. Right. So we understand is the one who rules in the kingdom of men, the one who has the mastery, who has all the authority in any kingdom that exists within the earth today. It's Yahweh. And he relinquishes, quote unquote, or he gives it over to whomsoever he will. Going into that word kingdom, it goes into the Hebrew malakwa. And the definition here, royalty, reign, kingdom, royalty, kingship, kingly authority, realm of territory, reign of time. So we understand is any reign, any rulership that is set up in the kingdom of men, which is, on this earth today, it's given by the Most High because he's the one who has all the authority. And we see in this playing off as it pertains to Esau because he's the one, the Lord is the one who gave Esau all the tools needed for him to rule this place that he currently in power of, right? In the book of Genesis 27 and verse 38. Because you can't rule this kingdom of men, the earth. You can't have the power, the kingly authority, the rulership position unless you've been blessed to have it. The Genesis 27 and verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and with the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And what? That verse 39 there. Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. So it was given unto Esau for him to have full and complete ownership and possession of the earth. And it was given to him by the Lord. If you know it through the Spirit, Isaac is Yahushai. And what we know, all things were created by him and for him. So what? He has the authority through his father to give the rulership of the earth over to whomsoever he will. It is, I believe, that Matthew 19. Matthew 19 or the 28. Let me see. You could just bear with me a minute here. Matthew 28. Right, Matthew 28 and verse 18. And Yahushua came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. And that is how it is we know also we could tie Yahushua back to being Isaac. Because the only man who has the power to say who should reign, besides Yahweh himself, is Yahushua. Because as Yahushua says here, all power is given unto him. So what? Yahushua has the rulership position in the earth. And since the days of when he was Isaac and he would have blessed Esau to have it, that is how we know he's the man who would be able to do that. Henceforth he did. So what? Revelation 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And you just want to see here, what? And power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Who gave him that power? Again, Daniel 4:17. You have just read the blessing. But Isaac would have restored Esau, and even Matthew 19:28. All the power was given to Yahushua. So we know Esau didn't end up in this position off of his own will or accord. It was given unto him. There is Daniel 8 and verse 24. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. So what? He shall have mighty power, but not by his own power. That is why he's in rulership, because the one who has all the power gave him the power to rule. He didn't get that on your own. Like Daniel 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. So we understand Esau is being allowed to rule. He's being blessed with the position to rule, and he's being allowed to rule. And we understand, second point I want to bring out here is that we can really do nothing about this. There is the book of Romans chapter 13. In fact, even before that, I want to read this precept here, the Proverbs 29 and verse 2. Because we even understand, though we can't do nothing about it, we really don't like the man that is in rulership right now. The Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So we would like to be able to do something about it, because we don't like the people who currently in power, who currently in rule. But we can't do nothing about it currently, because even more. Before I pull that Romans precept, they Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So what? The earth was given into his hand. Who gave the world into his hand? Again, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So what could we really do about that? We can't do anything about that, even though we would like to, because what we're suffering under the rule of these people. Wait is, take away our place. Let's see. If you could just bear with me. Right. They John 11 and verse 48. And we know we've been suffering under the rulership of these people. These people do not like us. They am Amos 1:9, who pursue just they cast off all pity. If I could just get that precept one quick. Cast off all pity. They Amos 1:11. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, the ones who currently rule today, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother, who is Jacob, with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So obviously we don't like the people who currently in rulership today because they're oppressing us, as the I believe it's the Daniel 8 I would have just read. He shall oppress the holy people, even Daniel 7 and 25. He shall wear out the saints of the Most High, the saints being the children of Israel. So we don't like these people, and we would rather they not be in rule, but it's not for us to say. They John 11 and verse 48, because it's even a beautiful thing that the Lord allowing these people to rule. Because, in the closing point I'd like to make in the video, this proves why it is we should be the ones in rulership. And when we do come into our rulership, nobody will be able to say that we shouldn't be in rule, because we is the righteous. We the righteous nation. They John 11 and verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans is Edomites, shall come and take away both our place and nation. So what the people who currently rule definitely have some bones to pick with the nation of Israel. They do not like us. So obviously we would like to do something about that, but it is not our time, or it is not in our power to do anything about it. Romans 13 and 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of power. So if you have power in the earth, it had been given unto you by the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh. So what you are allowed to rule, you are allowed to have power by the Most High power. Whosoever therefore resisted the power, resisted the ordinance of power, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works. Wait, is if a man please the Most High, he shall cause even his enemies to be at peace with him. But to the evil, wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. So if you do the right thing, you need not worry of the people who are in charge or in rulership, because what? When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am in the midst, and what the angels encampeth around they that fear him. So once you're doing works that pleasing to the Most High power, you need not worry of the ones who are in power. But still, we have no power to do anything about it. That is currently the situation we find ourselves in. There is 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Who is this he? There is Daniel 4, not Daniel, 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Who is this? This is Esau Edom, who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called God, and this includes us as well. It's not just Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kodash, but it's also the nation of Israel. We've been called gods in the scripture, or that is worshipped, so that he as power sitteth in a temple of power, showing himself that he is power. So what? Currently, as it stands, the ones who currently in rulership have a God complex, and they use that God complex to oppress the nations. I'm jumping again to the verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity already doth work. For only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. So who is this he? The one who lets Esau Edom be in rulership, and he will be taken out of the way. And that's the final point I want to make. The only one who could fix this position we in right now is the one who put we here. Because what? Again, that Daniel 8, the power and the mighty power that Esau has is not power of his own, but is actually power from the Most High. And let me read verse 7 before I get this next precept. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, and Salak, this is his name Yahweh, the Yahushai, whom Yahushai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. He is the one who has to fix this. He is the one. The book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 4. And again, he's the only one who could fix it. Sirach 10:4, the power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. So what? He is the only one who could fix it, because all the power is actually in the hand of power. Jumping down to verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings. So this is why Esau has to lose his power seat, and it's well, he who let it will let, until what he be taken out of the way. Why does this man have to be taken out of the way? Because he's an oppressive ruler. Because of unrighteous dealings, how we get into power, Ezekiel 28, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So the Lord is the one who has to fix it, and he's the only one who has the power to fix it. They Jeremiah 50 and verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast what? Striven against the Lord. So what? You're going to be taken out of the way, and that's even a beautiful point there we could make. We could do a part 2 to this. The pride of this man who's currently in rulership will not cause him to see the downfall that is at hand. In fact, yeah, we'll do a part 2. That could be the part 2 to this. But to continue, the Lord again is the one who has to fix it. There's Matthew 12 and verse 29. In fact, or else, Matthew 12:29, or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house, and the strong man in the earth today right now is Esau, and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Somebody has to come and put Esau in chains. Same that Revelation, I believe it's 20. Yep. Revelation 20 and 1, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. A chain is an instrument. Slovakia. A chain is an instrument used to what? To bind somebody, to have them under your control. Esau will be put under control, and the one who has this chain in his hand is the one who's going to do it. That angel spoken of in this first verse is Yahweh. Let's see here. I believe Mark as well had the same account. Mark 3:27. I could even read from verse 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? Because we have to understand is not only with the hand of his right hand, Yahweh, the right hand of the Father, Yahweh, not only is he going to have his part in bringing down this kingdom, but the Lord is using the people who run this kingdom themselves to bring each other down. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And this kingdom currently is divided. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. No man can enter into a strong man's house. This kingdom that Esau has, he cannot enter into it and spoil the goods of this kingdom. He spoils our, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. So we know the one chosen to deliver us from this kingdom and to bring down the rulers of this world is Yahweh. Daniel chapter 2, and we'll close with these precepts. And verse 34, thou sawest still that a stone was cut out without hands. Now, what it's speaking about is that Nebuchadnezzar, in this chapter, had a dream about all the kingdoms that would have had rule and would have been given power in the earth by the hand of the Lord. It would have been the Babylonians, it would have been the Medes and the Persians, then it was the Grecians, then it was the Roman Empire, and now what we live in the revival of that Roman Empire. So, and in this dream, Nebuchadnezzar would have saw that a stone came down and smote the statue, which is what brought down the rulerships and kingdoms of this world. was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon its feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. So who was this stone? This stone is Yahushai. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold, all these kingdoms that had ever ruled in the earth, broken to pieces together and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, so they had no rulership anymore. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth with it. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. There's verse 44, right? Because after the Lord again destroys his kingdoms, he's going to set up his own kingdom. Daniel 2 verse 44, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left out of people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And we have perfect right to do so, and perfect right to stand forever. Why? Because everybody else get a chance already. The Lord bless who it was, all the Shemitic nations to have rule and dominion in the earth today. So what? When we come into power, nobody will be able to say anything back to us because you all had your chance. And when you do it, you fuck it up. And what? Just like how we wasn't able to talk back to you all and do anything about the position we found ourselves in as a result of you being in power, you all will not be able to talk back to us. Again, what? That besides this, there's a great gulf fixed between who? Lazarus and the rich man. All the rich men, beginning with Esau and Edom and every other rulership and every other kingdom that ever existed, that great gulf fix still gonna be there. We wasn't able to come to you all, and you all will not be able to come to us. Verse 45, for as much as thou sawest that a stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and let it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power had made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So what? The Lord will fix this. So, God willing, this lesson was edifying and that you were edified. In closing, I'd like to say, Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachel Kodash, and to give double honors, double unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who surely do rule well. To the men standing by the highways and byways pushing this doctrine, we say Shalom. And even unto the sincere Aqua, the sisters who sit listen these lessons in silence, subjection, and obedience unto their husbands, we say Shalom. I say Shalom. This was your brother, Maya Sha'ala, and until next time I say Shalom.